My name is Jayven Palomares, and for my solutioning project, I wanted to find a solution that prevented athletes from getting major burns and cuts from the courts that they play on, specifically wooden courts and plastic courts, not so much outside courts because those kinds of scrapes are inevitable when playing your sport. So for my solution, I wanted to find a way to make knee sleeves and arm sleeves for every sport safer and more protective while not restricting movement and sacrificing comfortability for all athletes and players that are playing, especially kids my age, around the age of 16 to adults. And it can go up to as well older people because I know that older people will be playing their sports, specifically like tennis, a lot of movement, less physical contacts, but volleyball as well. I've seen a lot of adults that are older that have been playing volleyball lately because it's a less of a contact sport and it's more of a team sport as well. So for my solution, I wanted to create foam inserts for knee 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 sleeves and arm sleeves that would that you'd be able to put into, for example, act like this didn't have padding in it. You'd be able to put a piece of foam from our company into the sleeve where they'd have like a little pouch here where this foam is that you could take in and out. That's more portable and it would be, cheaper than buying just this in general because companies like, for example, Mizuno will charge around $20 for these knee pads. That's pretty expensive, especially for people that don't have a lot of money. And my whole goal was to make things more affordable while not sacrificing quality, protection, and flexibility and performance for athletes. So for some experiences that I went through during this whole trying to find a solution to my problem was that tr- trying to find the right foam isn't very easy. For me, I'm trying to find foam that's like this, so it's a little soft, but it has some resistance and bounce back to it, and it feels more like a gel-ish, I guess, in a way. The thing is that I wasn't able to find any, so it was hard to accurately make a product that would provide protection and things like that. So that was one of the experiences I had. Another experience I had was sewing in general. So in this knee pad, you can see the sewing where the sewing right here where the I guess pouch is supposed to be that holds the foam inside of it. So if you were to cut this open, you'd actually be able to pull out the foam and see what kind of foam it is. And I did that on a few other knee pads before because I bought multiple pairs of these actually to try and find the construction of it for my own product. And the foam, like I said, is really nice. It's hard to get, and the sewing for this is it's very good, and it was hard to figure out how to like create a pouch, I guess, because the sewing here, if I was to have left it open, it'd become flimsy due to sweat and movement playing on the courts. And with that, the insert would, like slip out of the pouch and it would like make it harder to move than just normal knee pads. So that was another experience that I had that was troublesome. If I was to do anything differently, I feel like going into this whole thing, I would have, I guess, done my research a little faster and more like productively because my research was kind of like, I guess it was like slow paced, so I gave myself a little time to actually make like an experiment product, and I think that was like my major fault in, you know, making a good product. And obviously I didn't. Like the product I made doesn't work and it's not at this house, so I can't show you guys, but um yeah, I think I would have definitely took more time to research, because research, as much as people don't like doing research and it can be boring, it helps out more than you'd think. And yeah, so that's something I'd do differently. And if I was to, like, from the beginning of the solutionary project, if I was to have, like, I guess, have chosen a different topic, I feel like I wouldn't, because this topic specifically is for, or not for, but I relate to, because as somebody who plays volleyball myself and gets cuts and scratches, like, I have a scratch on my elbow right now. Um, it's really annoying, and I just, like, I hate it, and I know that you can prevent these things. It's just the fact that, like, companies that are selling items to us are, like, not very, I guess, efficient in a way. But I mean, that comes down to, like, the way people wear it, like, because knee pads, they're supposed to be worn under, like, right under the kneecap, and some people don't wear it like that, so it can feel more restricting and, like, tight on the sides of your leg, because when you're bending, it's like this, and if it's higher up, it's gonna restrict movement, like, where your knee can bend. And that's just the user's fault, because you're supposed to have these under your kneecap to stop it from restricting movement, and it actually helps protect the knee more than you'd think, having it under your kneecap. So that comes down to the user. And um, things I wouldn't change for this whole project is definitely just having fun, experimenting with different types of foams and sewings. You know, like I said, I couldn't get the right foam. Like, this foam is, like, really good and, like, soft. Like I said, it feels like gel, but you know, um, yeah, I had a whole bunch of fun trying to make prototypes, I guess, in a way, of this, but it was a lot of money. And, if, like I said, if I was to do anything differently, it'd be researching how to make, or, like, different ways to make first, like making like blueprints, because I spent a lot of money on this in a very short amount of time, and that's not really good. So yeah, I think that's what I do differently, or that's what I'd keep the same, is to keep having fun and experimenting. But like I said, I research earlier, because it saves you so much trouble when you're actually trying to make something, that's, like, of use. So yeah, thank you for listening to my TED Talk.